Well, hey.
Good evening, everybody.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Same old mess with me. I was doing good late last night until I woke up at 4 this morning and decided to roll over, and the back called again.
And,
still dealing with that mess.
Yeah, man, backs, they just linger on. And I'm old man tired, working all day.
You get your evening nap?
Huh?
You get your evening nap?
Oh yeah. I got here right at 8 o'clock on the dot. And then me and Lee talked for a few minutes. Made y'all wait anxiously. but yeah, man. So I did have a little swarm up in the tree today, so tried to get them.
One of your own?
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure it's one of mine from somewhere. I just haven't figured out where yet. And it's too hot to sit out there and wait on it. So I just came in the house, took the old man nap.
I wish I had time for one. I got in, and I may have had 25 minutes today before the live started.
25 minutes? I worked until 9:30 last night.
Ooh.
Had to go back out. Hey, Kyle.
I had them nights.
And it was just, yeah, so it's just that thing. I guess it's just a different year, Here, kids are starting to go back to school. Parents are trying to get everything, sprayed, I guess. This is the only time they can do it or something. I don't know. But it's been real busy. Matter of fact, my boss, not my direct boss, but the regional sales manager said that right now I'm leading the whole region in sales for this month, and it's only the 8th.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Make that money.
I think today was the 6th work day, and I'm just under 20 grand in sales. So it's been busy.
We got a full cut of that though.
Yeah, last month was a good month. I mean, last month I made. I haven't gotten the commission yet, but it was a good month as far as, sales, if you will. And so once I get paid that, I start at 5 a.m. Don't stop till 9 or 10 every day. Yeah, but that's 9 or 10 Canadian. That don't count.
He got a little bit better weather than we have too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go back to the doctor soon, man. I think that's playing all of this is playing into my tiredness and stuff. You know, we just do what we can do.
But like DC's having a heck of a day.
No, those are. I think you might have got some of my bees. They made their way all the way out to the west coast there.
DC, are y'all getting into a dearth, or y'all still got a flow going on?
Yeah, I think I've been seeing Dan Garrison post up a lot, and I think that he was saying there's a dearth.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. If they starting to get a little dearth, they're going to be a little more protective than normal, and they're going to try to protect what they got and sting you, run you out of there.
This
Randy got him a nice little bit of honey out.
930 pounds and still has 12 more supers to go. That's somebody's got bees in a cinder block wall here, and they're saying that I hate dealing with bees in cinder block. They got all those holes, right? So you don't know if they're just in the cinder block or if they're going all the way through and going into a wall.
Yeah, Grammy's saying my sound's a little different. Is it better or worse or something off on it?
Do what?
Is my sound off? Like messed up? Grammy said
I hear you. I hear you fine. What mic are you got on? Tap your shirt and see. Make sure. No, that's can't hear the shirt. That's what happens when you got 37. You got 37 cameras and microphones going at the same time.
That sound a little bit better.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one. Lee doesn't have his normal bassy sound over there.
Is that a little bit better now?
Like a high tone. Yeah, that's normal. Lisa was the only one ready to say something about it. Everybody else was just like, I wonder what's going on over there. That's the thing. But I mean, we can you can go ahead and open it up if you want to. There ain't much to talk about as far as beekeeping for me right now.
I just dropped that in if you want to pin it up.
If I want to pin it up.
Yeah, I guess I didn't have the right mic turned on. I've been trying to rearrange some stuff in here. I got a mess behind me. That's why I keep the lights off so you can't see how bad it is in here. But everything, hopefully in the next week or so, if my back gets straight, I can start bringing my boxes in, putting them together, and build the new desk up.
Evidently, Bruce is here. Miss him say, oh, yeah, there it is. What's up, y'all? Hey, Bruce.
Okay, there it is. Yeah, I've seen the same thing. Hey, Bruce, but then I didn't see where he was. It's just been, I mean, the temperature down here, man, it's been rough on us. I left work yesterday and my car was showing 106. Now, I mean, it's sitting there. Yeah, it's generally going to show a little hotter. But once you get going, it normally cools down. And that's outside temperature car, not the inside. Anyway, I made it, I don't know, 8 or 10 miles down the road, stopped at a red light, and they had a bunch of buildings around blocking the wind from coming through. And I mean, you could just feel the heat radiating. Let me see if I can pull it up here. All right, now, after I was going down the road, this is what the car was showing at 5:19 in the evening. 120.
And that doesn't really include the heat index.
I don't know what it was, but man, it was hot.
I don't stay out there long, man, when it's hot like this. I mean, there's not much. I mean, it didn't get that hot here, but it was in the 90s, and then whatever the heat index brings up, right? So
I know our index the past couple days, it was supposed to be like 113, 114. But I don't know if the car was a little off or it was just all the metal buildings around and blocking the wind, but it was rough.
well, it's supposed to rain.
Jim, hadn't seen you in a
Good.
while.
Hey, Jim Hamby. The yeah, it's supposed to tomorrow. It's supposed to get 90, mid 90s. I think it was 97 today, but it's in the 80s now, 85. So it's I mean, it's still hot, right? But it makes it. I mean, if I put on a jacket, even if it's a Guardian or whatever, even the vented ones, it's still. I mean, like that gray T-shirt you have on right there would be dark gray. It'd be sweated all the way through, right? And it'd be running down my face and glasses and everything.
You can see up here, it's after 7. I mean, we still got 110 heat index.
It's so hot the bugs don't even want to come out.
That's kind of what I figured last night. We was all sitting outside. My sister-in-law and everything come over after my brother-in-law passed away. And they were sitting out on the porch, and I figured the mosquitoes were going to be bad, but we didn't get none out there.
That's because all the water that they need to breed in was all dried up.
Ain't nowhere to breed right now.
From the heat, right? Let me see. A couple weeks are in. There goes honey. Well, I talked to James the other day, James McNally, and he was saying that it was 0 degrees at night. So that's freezing. They're getting some freezing temperatures at night. And I'm thinking about moving south. You guys are scaring me. Hey, Steve, you will melt. You will melt. But moving south, I mean, just depends how far south, right?
I sent a picture of that to old Sawmill Charlie. He said, too hot for me. He said, it's time to move. Hey, we got somebody down there in the waiting room. I didn't even see.
Mr. Larry.
Hey, Larry. There, Mr. Larry.
Hey, Bob, Lee, how y'all?
Doing good. What you got going on over there, Mississippi?
Just got through cutting grass.
It's too hot to cut grass.
Cooled down to like 78 today. That was amazing.
It's so hot, my grass goes inside the girth this time of year.
Yeah, you should have been with me on that cutout Saturday. 101 degrees. Supposed to have been inside. It was outside on the porch. Went from 9 o'clock that morning till 5 that afternoon. I was burnt out.
I mean, those people wouldn't have enough money to get me out there to do it.
I'm telling you, it was like 130 miles, and I didn't want to make 2 trips. And the house was probably $2 million plus house, and I had to cut into the porch ceiling and had to put everything back up, and it had to, look good when I got through. And brother, it was hot.
See, that's like
last one I got on the books this year.
That's a disclaimer for me. I'm like, I'm a bee removal guy, not a construction guy.
Take dynamite.
Yeah, I do enough to get the bees out. Getting it back in is all on you.
It was a big deception. You know how it goes. The beehive's supposed to have been there just last year and this year, and they'd been living in the house 6 years, never seen any bees, and it was steel wool all up under the freeze board where somebody had fought them there before, and it was about 17 foot long. Anyway, I'm just glad it's my last one for the year. I'm not doing any more. Just got to cool down anyway.
This is pretty typical of what what we get here. I'll read it once I get it added in here. Did that go to full screen, Lee?
Yeah.
Because I can't see the picture that I just put in there. There it goes. All right, so it says, so Facebook fam, I have a massive beehive, we believe. I'm not versed in bees, but this was a week ago behind our shop. A week ago. See, it's been a week. They have since went into the building. There are so freaking many of these insane. I'm looking for someone that would come help relocate them. Who do y'all know, right? It's in downtown. It's in a cinder block wall. And I guarantee you that they're thinking, you know, since they said, I'm looking for someone to rehome them, that, oh, you get free bees. We're not, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the bees are the payment for you.
Yeah, and I'm like, no. They better
Yeah, I had one of them calls Sunday.
Guaranteed I'll be tagged in that before the end of the day.
Let me
Now,
see if I can
if
give
it's
you
a simple cutout under a trailer and I just got to remove a little bit of the little cover under the trailer to get in the insulation, I don't mind that. But when I start tearing wood up and stuff like that, I'm not doing no more of them.
Man, I am so booked up on free work, I can't take any more.
Yeah. Well, I got none, and I'm booked up on free work.
Tell you something right here, Bob.
You wax?
Little, no.
Everything BVAC.
Oh, yeah.
That
I got
thing has
one in
been
the
a
closet.
lifesaver this year.
I got one in the closet back here. I love them.
See, I keep pressuring Tim and Hannah to get a powered extractor, and they keep pressuring me to get everything BVAC. So I don't know.
That thing will run all day long on one charge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've done 2 cutouts in a day and brought both of them home with it still running on low just to circulate air over them, and it ran all day.
I've done one a week or so ago, and it was super hot, and it was a good hive, and I didn't want to lose it. So I put them up in the cab and took the motor head off and had the air blowing right into them real soft like.
Mm-hmm.
And they calmed down, quit fanning, they loved it.
Look like you got to be flying around in there with you.
That's
I've got some of Bob's bees down here. I got into a pretty mean hive a while ago. 2 hives have just vanished. Let me see. There's some of those boxes there. I don't know where they went. They just took off. Cone and everything looks real good. No slime, but everything was empty.
They just took off.
Yep.
I
wish somebody could give an explanation to that.
I have out of my colonies, I've had 3 like that. Well, but see, so I don't know if they left because of a pest or they left and then pest moved in, because only one of them had any wax moth damage. So the other one I think was hive beetles, but and one well, maybe 2 was wax moth, but I can't tell if it was before or after, you know. Probably before, because I had a few of them out there that were weak, and I've done it in the past to where I just keep adding brood from other colonies, and then the colony never really gets, even the one that I'm adding brood to still doesn't get going good. And I'm robbing it from other colonies, right? So I looked at it like this. If I had weak colonies that couldn't make it through a honey flow and grow out, then if they couldn't make it to winter, good riddance. I mean, you know what I mean? They were probably going to die over winter anyway, so I just let them go. Maybe that's wrong.
Yeah, I can't understand how Mr. Edge, you know, running roughly 120 hives, no treatment, and he doesn't really talk about losing hives. And right now, on into winter, you know, that mine are just going to start disappearing again, and I don't know.
He also,
Frustrating.
Mr. Ed also gets a like you know a bunch of cutouts,
Bunch of
swarm
cutouts,
catches. So he's constantly adding back to the pot too, and we don't know how many it is. He doesn't film every single one that he gets, I'm sure. But you know, that's my thing. I talked to Randy today, Dirt Rooster. I asked him, was he having many? He says, I really don't have a cutout right now. He's on the road going up to St. Louis for that conference up there. He's speaking up there. So no,
that's what kind of pushed me into doing the cutout this weekend. The people had contacted him, and he said, "Oh, LSBs can probably handle it. If he can't, just tell him to call me." Boy, there wasn't no way I could let
him down.
Yeah, I had to get it, and it was probably 250 miles from his house.
There you go. Don't waste good equipment on bad bees.
Yep. How far you live from Randy?
I'm in Meridian, and he's in Gulfport. He's about 150-ish miles from me, 160, and the place was in Jackson, which was straight out west from Meridian. So it would have he would have had to have come here and then go to Jackson. There's no way to get. Well, he could have cut across at Hattiesburg, I think.
Yeah, you can cut across Hattiesburg, or if he just hit 12 and come across and went up 55. But if you're in Meridian, you off I-20 then area.
Yep.
Okay. Not nowhere yet.
It was a 1x6 V-groove ceiling, 11 foot off the ground. I worked on an 8-foot ladder all day, and the boards didn't have any horizontal cuts in them. I had to take the entire board down, and then I had to put the crown mold back up, put the board back up, and all that good stuff. So it was.
That's Bob's favorite job. Bob loves working off ladder.
A stick of dynamite and a lighter.
If it was 70 degrees outside, I don't mind it. But I tell you, I don't like to do anything. I ride around in an AC truck most of the day, but then I get out in those 10-15 minutes that I'm walking around somebody's house sweating, and then I try to do the paperwork and sweat up all on the paperwork and everything.
That's me sitting in an AC crane all day. You get spoiled pretty easily.
What'd you do to your arm?
Yeah, y'all got them cushy jobs.
Poison sumac.
You got in the sumac?
Yeah.
The
I'm highly allergic to the crud, so had to have some steroids I got to take for it.
Some magic pills from the.
That's about like me. If I look at it too long, I'm gonna catch it.
Well, the thing about it's crazy because I didn't come in contact with any. So I asked the doctor. They said, "Do you got tomato plants?" I said, "Yeah." They said, "Well, the sap on the tomato vines are the same. It's similar to poison sumac." I said, "Well, that makes sense."
What'd you say, Lee?
Urushiol oils?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
So, and I said, well, then I won't do tomatoes next year.
I think I'm just having a heck of a year. I ended up getting staph earlier this year. Then my back's been messed up for the past month, and I don't know if you can see, but I think I'm starting to get it back on my face again.
Yeah, right on the right side?
Yeah. Last time it was on the left. So it was just a screwed up year for me, I guess. Maybe next year.
Hi, Larry. I'm Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, he's in Charleston, South Carolina. Close to it. Somerville, right?
Yeah.
So
hour and 25 minutes from Bob.
I've got a craving for some fried green tomatoes, and I hadn't been able to find any green tomatoes anywhere.
Hell, if you're here, you can't find any tomatoes unless you grow them yourself at the grocery store. I mean, what they put in the grocery store here doesn't seem like it's really tomatoes. I mean,
yeah, them things pitiful.
Pitiful. That's true. The Chris and I work at the same company too, And man, the people working the heck out of me.
I worked the heck out of myself.
I'm to give you an idea, I ended up last month at 30,000. We talked about that, right?
Yeah, you're probably halfway there already there now, aren't you?
I'm over. I'm at 18.
There you go.
And it's
Only
really
8 days.
the 5th workday in the year, right? Or in the month. So
You guaranteed 25% of all your sales.
not I'm close. Close to it. So but it's it's just been busy, man. I was out at 9:30 last night doing a restaurant because I had to foam the drains.
Oh, okay.
And
flies.
yeah, for drain flies, and they were you couldn't do it during the day. So I had to go back when they were closing.
Charge them $550.
Nah. Well, here's the thing. They have 5 locations. So one of them is here and 4 of them are down there by you. So I'm trying to and the guy that I talked to controls the pest control for all 5 of the locations. So I'm trying to switch him to the dark side from modern. So
I hear you.
So we'll see. I gave him a little bit of a break.
Well, wish me luck tonight, guys.
Oh yeah, it's only 1.55.
No, I got the ticket. I got it.
But this is only in South Carolina.
Oh, you didn't get the Mega Millions?
Yeah, this is Mega Millions for South Carolina.
That's
Yeah,
nationwide.
It's nationwide though.
I know. I'm messing with you. South Carolina hasn't won it yet, so we got to get it down here.
I split it with you.
I'm sure you will.
Here's $5. There you go.
All right, you're going to have to split it already with the government.
I was about to say, I mean, I'm not greedy. I'll only take 10%.
Right?
Yeah. You know what? I do have something to say while we got 75 people watching. I've got I'm looking to order a pallet of Premier frame, deep frames with foundation. If you need some and want to get in on the buy, send me an email and we'll figure out how many we need to order to get it done. So I know how many I need, and then we can add it up to see how many pallets we need to get a decent price. So it's the only thing is when you buy pallets, you got to pay for them up front and get them shipped, then have to go pick them up or pay an extra few $100s in shipping. So
yeah, don't like that.
No, I mean I know it's a good price, but we're probably looking around $4 a frame with the foundation in it. So if it's something y'all want, just hit me up and I'll get you on the list. But don't wait till like 3 weeks to call me or message me because you might be missed out by then. Just saying.
So what's your plans for next year since you ordering all that? You looking for more honey production hives, or are you trying to do splits and gain population colonies?
The plan is to make a plan. Right now, I know what I've got, and I know I have to do something with those, right? So they have to either be split or they have to have nukes pulled out of them. I have to do something to keep them from swarming in the spring. So I'm between, I don't know the exact count, but I know I'm between 50 and 60 colonies out there. So that means I need at least 50 boxes, right? I've got 40 of them already ordered, or not ordered, already here. And so I need at least 400 frames just for the new boxes that I've got. So I'm just trying to prepare ahead of time. As these lucky commission checks start coming in, start paying for them. Yes, Ed, pretty much what they do is he gave me a quote on them. And as far as the shipping, they said, well, if you go and pick them up from the hub, like I drive my pickup truck there, it's $200 cheaper than having them bring them right out here to my house. So
how far is it to the hub?
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's in town, so it's probably 30 minutes to anywhere, right? So I mean, it's not a big thing. I did it with my license.
Yeah, that'd be worth driving then. Now, I mean, if you had a couple hour drive or something, one way, yeah, I'd say go ahead and just take the ship.
So it's let me see. The black gum and sugar locust seem to be turned. I haven't seen any even goldenrod here yet.
We've got a bunch of it grown up, 4 or 5 foot tall here, but we don't have no flowers yet. Now, when I was leaving work, I don't know,
that's what
2 weeks or so ago, I seen one little plant that started getting a couple of flowers on the top, but that was the only one I've seen so far bloomed out.
right.
Yeah, I've got some magnolias blooming and some crepe myrtles and some wildflowers that are white, little dinky flowers on them.
I got a dogwood in the front yard. It's got a few blooms on it, but that's about the only thing I got out right now that I've seen.
I got nada.
And I leave my my tomatoes and my cucumber plants growing wild, so at least they got something to go to.
Well, we've got goldenrod, but it hadn't popped open yet here. Now, I have seen it some places that as I'm driving, I've seen where it's popped in a few spots, just not here yet.
Well, you got that neighborhood with all the crepe myrtles in it, though, right down the street from you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if what they pull off of it. Someone says that they get pollen off of it, and some people say they get nectar. I don't know if
It's a 50-50.
They are getting a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I know if I put some feed out, they'll be on it like crazy.
Yeah, I think it's more pollen than nectar out of them.
I'm probably going to have to do that as well. I got to go get
I gotta get sugar.
get some more feed, yeah, for sure. But man, I'll tell you, I just been going. Yeah, Michael.
Oh, we got pine trees.
About to say it depends on the cotton. I heard some of it has decent nectar on it, and some of it don't.
I had
What the
somebody
difference is, I'm not sure.
recent. I was on Facebook and I had posted, "Hey, any of my farmers got any cotton fields they need pollinated, right?" And they're like, "Oh, the cotton here doesn't bring nectar." So I was like, "Well, okay, I won't have to do that work." So I just left them right here. We got the TMs. We got the trademarks back over there.
There you go.
Yeah, I just seen DC asking what is TM, so I sent him trademark.
But yeah, I mean, that's as far as I'm ready to get, we talked, I think Bruce and those guys talked about it last year too. About this time of the year, I kind of start getting the burnout, the burnout with just the constant. I'm kind of ready for that fall, winter where the bees just kind of start naturally reducing and get them ready to where you can just put your M treatments on, right? And if you do that, some people don't do that. So got to include everybody. And then just kind of sit back and wait on the spring,
Yeah, we had a little tremor this morning down here.
Oh, you had an earthquake down there this morning?
Yeah.
We get them around Elgin around here. We can hear them usually, and sometimes you can feel them, but not too often lately. But so what y'all's plans for the spring as far as what are you going to do with your bees? What's the plan? Are you going to continue to grow? Or are you going to try to stay where you're at?
Well, me personally, whatever I catch as a swarm flying into my traps, that's all I'm doing. I don't split or anything. I just let them do their natural split. It's called swarm.
I believe I had one swarm come out this year, but other than that, I didn't do no splits or anything like that. I just started stacking boxes on because we had that early warm weather coming in, so we figured the nectar flow was going to start hitting. So I started stacking boxes, and then we had that late freeze, and It just kind of set it back for us.
I
But as
need
far as next year, I think I'm just going to try to stay between 25 and 30. I'm not planning on trying to gain any because with work, I never know my schedule right now. And I ain't even been out to my bees and actually been into them in about 2 months. Now, I went out there at some of the hives that already pulled super zone. I have done OA treatments on them, but that's been about it.
I need to get better because, and I know it's a heat thing because I get, for the last 3 years, I've gotten 0 swarms in the spring. I always manage them because manage them, get them reduced down, or they're small coming out of winter, and I don't get the spring swarm. But this time of year, this is when they like to do that natural split for me. And
I think Fox Plus must be making a visit here.
oh yeah, we just hopped up 266. He's usually been incognito back there. He's just kind of sitting in the background.
You just need to put more swarm traps up around your property there, Bob.
Yeah, be my luck, I'd catch 20 in my yard that aren't mine, and then I'd have to be buying more equipment.
Well, you're already buying some, right?
Yeah, but those are for the bees that I can pick when I get to build that, when I get to get those. Yeah.
Well, you don't like to do it. Catch them and hurry up and buy one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I did the first of the my first year, man. I had my colonies and I started splitting them. Like, man, I'm running out of stuff. I need to, by next year, I'm thinking like in the future, I'm like, I need more stuff. So I go ahead and buy this great wall of boxes, right? Like that you guys see behind me in the videos and stuff last year. And I didn't even get hardly any of them filled up. And then I ended up this year, filled them all up. Now I'm having to do it again, buy more boxes, fill them up, buy more I mean, that's one of the things we could talk about that. I mean, I think that's interesting. For me, it's interesting. Y'all might not think it's interesting. Every one of us have this goal in our mind, or maybe you don't. I really don't have that magic number. I want to get to 200. That's not like in my thought process because I don't know what that is. I mean, however, the scalability, right, has been kind of the issue. So let's say Charlie there takes a bite of his cheesecake and says, you know what? I want to go from 30 to 60. And you're like, cool. And then you got to buy 30 additional colonies, right? So let's just look at woodenware. If it's just a single deep, a bottom, and a top, and 10 frames. Throw a price out there. What do you think that costs nowadays? If you were buying it retail, not like a special deal or something like that, right?
You can get it for about $85.
$85.
I'd say more like 125.
Yeah, I'm thinking like 20 for the bottom, 20 for the top, right? So that's 40, 20 for the box. So that's 60. And then at least, I mean, plastic frames here were $3.20. So that's another $32, right? So 90, is that right? 60 and 32. Yeah, like 95. Let's say $95 before tax, right? So $100. So now multiply that times 30. That's $3,000, right? Just for that. And oh yeah, by the way, you don't have any bees in them boxes yet.
Right.
So you got to do that work, right? And get them comb built up and everything. So now when you start going from 50, now you're getting 50 boxes, right? So that's $5,000 worth of stuff, assuming that we're using that $100 as a thing there. Yeah. But then guess what? When you do that, you can't just keep them in a single box all year, right? For the most part, if you make a split in a deep, they're going to fill that deep up and you're going to have to start putting supers on. So if you're doing 30 colonies, 30 boxes isn't enough. You probably need 60 boxes, right? And 60 frames. So now you're in $6,000.
There goes all your fishing time.
Yeah, ain't no fishing happening around here. No fishing.
Well, I still make time for fishing now.
Well, yeah, you know,
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
like Lagrange there, he does build his own bottoms and tops, and that saves a lot. But it's not 115 degrees out there either when you're trying to make it.
I mean, even if you got a shop that's AC, though, I mean, it just depends on what your job is, too, if you have that time to get out there and do that.
Yeah, there's not but 24 hours in a day, and you're going to sleep 6 or 8 hours.
If you don't have to wake up to go to the bathroom.
I've had a,
And then
I've
you
had a
got to
couple,
work 8 hours, so that's 16 hours.
I've had a couple weekends off here and there, a couple holidays, but other than that, I'd been working 7 days since the end, 7 days a week since the end of February. So, I mean, as far as my extra time, I just ain't had it.
Well,
Yeah, time is the most valuable thing.
right. I mean, so that's why a lot of the guys say buy your equipment and build your bees, right? I think Ian Stepler's famous for saying that. But and hey, I'm not faulting anybody that's got the time, that can put into work and can, you know, the other thing is, if you're, okay, so let's use Lagrange, let's use Alex's thing there. So, all right, you're building 50 tops and 50 bottom boards. And let's say you get 5 or 6 out of a sheet. Well, then you still need 10 sheets of plywood or 10 sheets of wood to build your stuff. So you got to go to the store and you got to load all that up and you got to bring it all back, right? And so that's another time expense. So it's just, I don't know.
And then you get to the point where you're too small to be big and you're too big to be small.
Yep.
Right.
Well, like Hope says there, he builds his equipment in the winter, and that was kind of my plan. I mean, most of my stuff I buy already assembled because I just don't have the time to get out there and put everything together with my job. But I mean, I have a little here, a little there in the off season, I guess you'd say.
Right.
So, I mean, when I do buy equipment, either during the summer or during the fall, I wait till the winter time and I paint everything or prime and paint and do all that. That way it's ready for the next year.
So 4 sheets gets them 16 tops and 1 bottom. So that means if you were doing 30, you would need at least 8 sheets. And that's for the tops, right? And probably another 8 sheets for the bottom. So now you're 16 sheets of 4x8 plywood strapped to the top of your Malibu through the Canadian winter to your apartment to cut them up. Or
I'm figuring he's talking about
cutting.
16. I'm just thinking he's talking about 16 tops and 16 bottoms.
Oh, maybe he does get 16 tops and bottoms out of it. I don't know, but still,
When
8 sheets.
When I really started building nukes, I was using 1/2-inch plywood, and it was an exterior grade, sanded. It was pretty plywood, and it holds up real well. And it was like $21 a sheet, and then it went to $74.
Yep.
Yeah, it went to 74 in 2021, and I just said to heck with it. I'm not paying it, you know.
Well, that's like our 4-inch PVC here at Home Depot. I used to get a 10-foot stick of 4-inch PVC, heavy. Well, I say heavy wall, schedule 40, not drain pipe, but schedule 40. And I think I paid maybe $18, $20 for it. Last time I went, they wanted $63 for a 10-foot piece of PVC.
You know, and a lot of that's just pure greed.
Yep. That's what I used to make my chicken waters. Was to
go down to
4-inch
Orange
PVC.
Beach or Daytona Beach, and summer places just full. Condos going up everywhere. Those people are getting their money somewhere.
I mean, but the thing that we're trying to figure out. So let's take James, right? James has 200 plus colonies. He's in Canada, so
Look me up, Dan.
and he's got to get 200 more, or let's say he doubles, right? So now you can't only just get 200 brood boxes, right? You gotta have at least 3 or 4 up there 3 or 4 boxes for supers, right? So now you're at 800 boxes, and then you need doggone 6,000 sheets of foundation, 6,000 frames. So like last year, all winter, their winter, not necessarily ours, but we would see them in the wood shop, and they would do it every single night. And it wasn't just one person. It was James and Alan and their other friend. They're manufacturing, and then you got to wax 6,000 frames, you know, so that's
somewhere around every 100 hives, you've got to have one person part-time.
But the problem is 100 hives doesn't produce enough money to pay
Right.
someone additional.
It's kind of like restoring cars. You can't count your time.
Right. That's
like,
it. I mean,
like beekeeping.
but yeah, but a private mill would get you. You don't make plywood, right? So
Yeah.
you would be buying board feet of lumber. Then you'd have to cut it all down. And
Well, it's like Jason from Bohemia Bees. He actually has a box cutting machine, and he found that you can buy the boxes already. I mean, I buy lumber in pine lumber, clear stuff, and then number 2 grade. I can buy it in kiln dried, plain, ready to roll to resell cheaper than I can.
Hey, thanks, Fox Plus to the moon. Look at that, 1,700 viewers. Hey, look, it's U.S. dollars tonight. I had to double check. I thought I was getting some Filipino pesos tonight again.
But I mean, he found that, you know, even with the
We
machine,
take Bitcoin.
that he can buy the boxes cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, you can actually get the boxes pretty cheap before shipping. So if you have a way to, or somewhere near you to go pick them up, like in Mississippi there, down in Moss Point, you can buy boxes for $12 a piece.
Mm-hmm. Now, see, all of my stuff I get from Better Bee, and I mean, the price difference between unassembled and assembled is only like probably around $2 a piece. So I figure, I mean, for
Do
my
they
time,
glue and staple them?
yeah, glue and staple. But for my time to get out there, to me, that little $2 is worth already getting them assembled. But if you
Right.
look at it, if you buy one unassembled, you can actually get a higher quantity in a single box for about the same price of shipping, because when they're assembled, they take up more room.
Well,
But still, I buy them assembled already.
I'm gonna tell you, I was looking at buying frames to assemble, right, from Man Lake, because they had the 100 pack, right? You could buy them at 100, and a few weeks ago it was $1.29 a piece, or $129 for 100, and now they're $144.95 a piece. So that's, you know, you're getting up on the $1.50 a frame. So that's, you know, $15 if you want to glue and assemble all your frames. Well, either you're going to have to string them, or you're going to have to put in some foundation of some sort. So now you're looking at 100 foundations are $180, $179.95. So let's see. Bring the old calculator up.
Brian, you got to remember, anytime you think you got enough, add at least 50% more.
So
Because
for 100
you run out of equipment quick.
100 frames and foundation that you have to put together is $3.24, or might as well say $3.25. $3.25 a piece for a wooden frame and foundation. So how much is your time worth at that point? You know, it's, and again, we're not talking building 10 frames, right? 10 frames, so what? It takes you an hour or whatever it takes you, right? Not a big deal. But when you're talking about thousands or hundreds and hundreds, then now it's like, it's getting to the point to where, for me, to be honest with you, if these were the prices when I got started, there's no way I would have had this many colonies. It wouldn't have been happening, right? Because everything's doubled. When I started, you could get 100 frames from Man Lake for like $89. They were like 89 cents a piece, right? And I'm sure when Charlie started, they were like a nickel.
I don't know.
At least
I feel like when we all started, it was supposed to be fun.
Right.
I just started, so.
My wife thinks my time is worthless. None of you come about this. Thanks, Grammy. Appreciate you. But you know, that's the thing. It's just I call it scalability because I'm working at a smaller scale to like James, right? James started and he said, this is the money that I have to start my bees. And this is all the money I'm going to take out of my pocket to build these bees. And he's been able to use his honey money and Nuke sales to keep matriculating the flow down, the cash flow to buy more stuff. So the thing is that's fine. However, in the States, to get that same amount of honey that he gets, if he's got 200 colonies, we need 800 colonies because we average 50 pounds nationally, 50 pounds average per colony, and they average like 200. So look, we just hit 2K viewers. So that's the thing that their honey is cheaper than ours. So it does kind of even out, but it's not a quarter of what ours is, right? It's like maybe a third, like $3 and some change a pound down there. So it's one of those things that it's like, man, how can you afford? Thanks, Darren. I appreciate it, but I'm not broke. I'm just trying to, put a point out here. 2,100 subs. Put a point out that figuring out where you want to be and how you're going to stay there, right? So bees are going to make bees and they're going to make honey. And if you don't do something, they're going to naturally split themselves, right? So yeah, that was just kind of the topic, is that as far as growing, it takes a lot of funds. Now that everything's going up in price, it makes it a little bit harder. There's Dennis.
I have never bought one bee.
You've never bought one bee?
Nope.
Not me.
And that was kind of what I was teaching in our bee club, and now everybody's making bees, and that's knocking me out of my business.
Well, that's funny you say that, because when I started here, I didn't see that many beekeepers locally, like on Facebook. And now I see honey for sale, like all in my own town. I didn't see that a couple years ago.
We haven't got any beekeepers around here.
And it's the thing with it is, I know later in the year I'm going to sell more honey because they're going to sell out and I'm still going to have honey, right? So that's going to come around. But these, it's like they'll have the little jar, and either I'm selling mine too cheap or they're selling theirs too expensive. I'm trying to figure it out right now, because they'll have these little jars, or they'll have the mason jars like I use, and they're not even all the way full, right? And they're selling it for the same or a little bit more than what I am. Some pesos.
$15, Bob?
Yeah, I mean, they're selling them pretty cheap.
When I was selling honey, I had all my labels, really plastered on it, local honey, and that seemed to be the ticket. Everybody wanted local honey.
Mm-hmm.
See, I don't have local on mine. Mine just says, well, kind of hard to see probably.
Kodiak Farms.
It says raw honey.
Yeah, put local on it.
Mine
But
says
with a
mine's
sharp.
still pretty decent around
mine
here.
says local raw honey on it. That's
The worst thing I done was carried one of my swarm traps to the club meeting, and man, that people in there taking pictures and measurements. Next thing you know, everybody was posting swarms they were catching. I said, "Oh, there goes my nuke sales."
well, yeah. I mean, that's the and that's the other thing, nuke sales, right? So here, we got one beekeeping supply store. At least there's one prominent one, and they use a guy out in the country out here that sells hundreds and hundreds of nukes, right? So he's already got their market cornered, right? So they sell like 200 nukes, and they do the pre-list and all that stuff, and then it's the only way I sell it is like overflow at this point. I haven't put out last year. People asked me, did I have them? I didn't make them prepay for them or do any of that stuff. And when it came time for the nukes, they're like, oh, I'm going with this guy. He's a little bit cheaper than yours. I'm like, great. Then don't call me to come out to your house like you did last year. Look through your phone. You know, go to that guy that's an hour and a half away. You save $10 on the nuke from, and get him to do it. You know,
You spend
The problem
$40
we
on
got
gas.
is everyone wants them in March, and I can't get them built up, that quick. I start grafting at Easter's my start point, and I've got to get started earlier. But we take that chance on that last freeze coming and knocking them out. I made 40 mini boxes, queens and all that stuff, and it was probably 3 weeks before Easter, and sure enough, here come that last freeze, and it killed every one of them.
right. We had
And
that
then by
killed all our plants. Though.
by 1st of April, people have already found somebody else that's got some wintered over nukes or something like that. It's a timing thing here, and we got about 8 weeks to hit it and hit it hard. So therefore, you got to get on that 7-day cycle of grafting and all that, plus trying to work and make a living, and it can get pretty hectic. And then you get a rogue queen in your starter hive, and boom, there goes all your sales.
So I think here, and next year I'm going to try it differently. So I'm going to try to graft longer next year, right?
That's what I'm going to do.
And when we get to this time of the year, I can make nuke splits to overwinter to have them ready to sell early before everybody else has queens. Mine already have queens from, later on in the season, and be ready to go. And I don't have that right now. The only way I can do that is.
And we were talking about drone power, how we start losing our drones. And my theory is, the hives are not super big because you just made them, a few weeks earlier, and they don't see a need to have drones. They make drones, when they see that they're overgrowing so they can swarm, and the drones, can mate with the virgin queen. So my theory is if the hives are not super strong, overpacked, the drones are just not going to be there.
Right.
My hives are full of drones still.
See, I hadn't got any.
I've got very few in the colonies.
Now, the cutout I done Saturday, it was full of cap lava. I mean, the thing was just full, and full of drones too. But I don't have that in my yard.
Now we can manipulate that though, right? So to use what they do up in Canada, after they pull their honey, they shake all their bees back down into single brood boxes or double brood boxes, whatever they're going to overwinter in.
Cram them up,
right? So here, what has been my experience, what I've done is I haven't done that. I've just let them go. And what happens is they end up having too much room, and then they can't protect it against the wax moth and the hive beetles. So you start losing a few colonies from that. And then if I do leave on an extra box over winter for them, well, then they move all up in it and I can't get them out of the medium, right? so that's been a couple of issues. So this year I've done some of them that I've shaken them all down into a single deep just so they pack that out. And hopefully that keeps them a little active a little bit longer. But again, I'm starting to get the little swarms shaking them into the trees, right? That's that was kind of my nightmare situation, and it's happening. They'll move into my swarm trap, and they're in there for a couple days, and then it's like they move back out or go somewhere else or something. So it's been one of those crazy years, but we're learning stuff every year. I did a inventory. I was talking to James yesterday for a little while. And if you look at my situation, I came into spring with 17 colonies. I got it up to 60 colonies. I sold about 20 nukes. I filled all of my equipment up. And some of the best advice he gave me, I learned how to graft, so I grafted. But some of the best advice he gave me was don't worry about the honey. Worry about getting your bees equal, your colonies at equal strength, so you can look in a colony real quick and you can tell if something's wrong with that colony, because you just went in a colony that looked much different than that colony, right? So it makes it easier to identify what you've got going on. The other thing was that the honey took care of itself, because the bees, that's what they do. They make honey, right? So I ended up making, as of right now, I've got as much as I did last year. And I still have honey on the colonies because it's just been too hot for me to get out there and pull it off. Or I'm going to help a buddy with his colonies and mine are sitting here needing to be worked and I'm at his, right? So had I worked mine this weekend, maybe I don't have a swarm in the tree right now. It might have been avoided. You don't know. So anyway, I went from sleepyhead when I started to running my mouth too much now.
I've learned once the bees make up their mind they're going to swarm, they're going to swarm.
Well,
so I just let them and I catch them in the swarm trap.
Well, if in fact they do leave, and the mother colony does survive with their new queen and it comes back and gets mated, actually, that's this time of year, that's not really a terrible thing, because now in the spring, that queen is ready to go. And she hadn't had a whole season under her belt laying thousands and thousands of eggs, right? So that queen would probably make a kick-ass nuke, or it's going to make a lot of honey for you next year.
Yeah. Well, the two swarms I had,
they abscond.
Yeah, they're just like, we're out, all of us. We're not leaving eggs.
Yeah, we're gone. We out of Dodge.
Well, the two swarms I had, I waited the full month before I went back in there and seen that the queen was laying, so I knew the new one got mated, and now they're exploding again. I got really good queens, so I lucked out.
I made mine, so I got what I got. And some of those
they're swarm queens, so they're ready,
Some of them don't. Like some of my queens did really well. Some of them didn't do that well, but I just didn't. I didn't continue to throw resources at them all year long. As like, look, you have, they have to sink or swim, So I'm kind of implementing, I guess, some of that natural beekeeper action, right? To where it's like, look, if you guys can't make it over a honey flow from a 5-frame nuke, then yeah, if I had the queen, I could switch queen, put a new queen in and save it. But I just freed up that equipment, if they left, and can make another one. Not mine. That comes from the shares. Oh, they're sharing it out. Okay. So it's just one of those things to where I decided that, hey, here's your split. You girls go get it. And if you don't, then I'll just replace you with a new nuke next time or something, Charlie,
Now,
wake up.
have you guys tried a mating box? How about you, Charlie?
Yeah, I have two frame mating boxes, and then the last video, or next to last video I put, I think it was, I upgraded them to a 5-frame nuke, so they have more room. And then I've been feeding them some sugar water, and all that. And now the hives behind me they're all my production hives. I'm treating, and I'm kind of prepping for winter right now. I haven't fed any of them, and I went through them 3 weeks ago, I guess it was, but when I was putting strips in, and there wasn't any queen cells or anything like that, and all. So they're all seem to be good. So
But yeah, I've got the 2 framers, but I'm not doing them right now. Here's the thing.
Well, I mean, as far as mating and all, I'm done. I mean, the queens are mated that I've got mated, and all I'm doing is trying to grow them.
So here's the problem with those 2 framers this time of year for me, right? If I go out there and I've got 30 boxes out there, I can make 32 frame splits right now if I wanted to. However, they're going to get robbed out. I mean, because there's no flow going on. So if I put any feed on them, they're done. Because the colony, they're not strong enough in bee power, or if they are, you got a month before they're ready. So even if I made it strong, there's no queen. So it's going to, for the next 3 weeks, it's going to diminish in size. Right. So the feed that's off to the side there just gets, the bigger colonies will just come in and take them out.
Well, the secret behind that, and you're right. If like right now, now's not, you should try where I'm at, trying to get queens mated now, probably you're getting close to the end here. What's August? So you got August, you got September. Yeah, you got a couple months here. But yeah, the dearth is kind of on. And I've had this in the past where you put a little pint jar on mine. I got a hole there that you put a pint jar on. And then I make these boxes that slip over top that jar. And they block it from the sun and also from the other bees from trying to get a hold of the sugar water. But it's not really sugar water. I buy ProSweet. I bought a tote of ProSweet. I guess it was a couple 100 gallons about 3 years ago. And that was when ProSweet started coming out. And I had my friend Lloyd, and I got it through him. And I was looking at buying ProSweet instead of buying sugar and mixing my own sugar and the time involved and all that. And I don't know what the price of ProSweet is now, but I'll say it's sort of comparable to sugar. But the problem with it is it's so thick. It's like 2 to 1. And you have to have a gear pump to pump that stuff. You can't use a diaphragm pump. So I'm set up.
Is $27.95 a gallon
in a tote.
No, it's $27.95 a gallon. A 5-gallon pail is $114.
You can't afford to buy it by the 5-gallon pail.
And unless you can go to somewhere and get it pumped for you.
Well, that's where I got it pumped. So they were just starting to come out with it. So maybe it was cheaper then. Anyway, I fed my hives with that instead of sugar 1 year, but I had to go back and start humping 5-gallon buckets of it, or at least a 4 gallons in a 5-gallon bucket, and that about killed my shoulders. And I said, the heck with this. So I went back to sugar water because I can mix it and pump it with a pump.
Put it right out.
So it says Pro Sweet is a proprietary blend combining the benefits of high fructose corn syrup, and sugar syrup.
Yeah, it's thick, Matt. Matt says it's 3-to-1. I agree with you there. So what I do is I take Pro Sweet, like I was just making up some quart jars for these feeders. I put about a cup and a half of that in a I got a $4 blender from the local thrift shop, and I think it's a cup and a half. I put the Pro Sweet in, and I fill the jar up to 28 ounces of water, and then I blend it and kind of make a 1-to-1 out of it. But what I was getting at is about Pro Sweet is the bees can't smell it. That's the one big advantage with this stuff. I have my mating boxes right behind these great big 10 framers. They don't get robbed out. Now, if I put a pint jar of regular sugar water, those bees are dead.
Right.
Because they'll kill them.
Well, I think first of all, Lee's in pain, so we can ramble on for a long time here. So Lee's getting ready to head out on us, guys.
Yeah,
I figured that.
That's why I've been leaning over and turning the camera off. I'm having to get up and try to move around.
Yeah,
but I hope everybody has a good night.
Okay.
Leave y'all to it.
All right, Lee. Thanks, buddy.
See you later, buddy.
But with the sorry about that. But yeah, so what I notice is on my smaller colonies, they have to be able to finish whatever sugar I put on them prior to the bigger colonies running out. As long as the bigger ones have it on it, when the smaller ones run out, then it's typically not a problem. But if for some reason I put a half pint on a small nuke and I put a quart on a double deep and the quart is gone and there's still some in that half pint or whatever, they're coming for it.
Right.
See, my mentor said, don't even do that. He said, don't even feed them on the hives. I mean, he's got 3,000 hives, so I tend to listen to him.
Right.
He says he just puts out 5-gallon buckets away from the hives, up in a tree, lets them hang, where the little holes are.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, that's how he feeds his. He just lets them go to a community feeder.
Yeah, I've done that. I've had, go over here to Home Depot and buy the bucket and go around and put the little 1/8 of inch holes in there, whatever they are. And then they fill up the lid, the little notches in the lid, like little reservoirs.
Yeah, that's what he uses.
I've done that. And
he also says got to make sure your entries to your hives are at the smallest entries all year round. Don't move them to the large entries.
Well, that is that's like
that
a double-edged sword too, right? Well, you use screen bottom board, so it may not be as bad for you, but you do. It is a box though, so maybe your bees they beard a lot too, right?
Oh yeah, the whole fronts are completely bearded up right now. But even the small hives, none of those bigger hives are even going to my smaller ones.
So and I've got frame feeders, and I haven't had very good luck with frame feeders at all. Even with the cap and ladder system, like the mother load ones, I've got 25 of those. So it seems like I get dead bees and hive beetles is what I get in there. And those feeders.
Well, my next trip up to you, I'm bringing those bottom boards for you.
I just use a 5-gallon bucket and put pine straw in it and pour my sugar water on top of it. But the trick is you got to have a ladder system in there for them to get out of the 5-gallon bucket because they cannot crawl up the sides.
See, I use that tote.
Yeah, the blue totes they can.
Yeah, the black tote like I use, they usually can get out pretty easily out of there.
I put a medium frame and just, foundation on. I just lay it
in there
vertically inside. Yeah. And they come on out then. I'm going to have to get out of here too. My shop is filling up with bees and wax moths and everything else.
All right, Larry.
Go
all those lights, all that light you got.
Beg pardon?
And all the lights.
All the lighting you got.
Oh, yeah, I can't see.
Yeah,
I have to light it up. Like an operating room. But yeah, spend most of my time out here. Anyway, good to talk to y'all.
Yep. Good to see you,
All right,
Larry.
Larry. Yeah, good night.
All right, Larry.
I'll be back.
Catch y'all
Charles
next
going to get
time.
his popcorn and his Diet Cola.
Yeah, I got a good diet.
So, hey guys, the link's at the top. If you want to come join us, come do it. We haven't had a Canadian sighting tonight. Larry's froze up over here, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop him out. There you go.
There you go.
And yeah, so I'm gonna be getting some frames. I just don't know.
You doing boxes and frames or just frames?
Just frames right now.
Are you?
I just got 40 boxes. Do you need boxes?
Well, I have I got 2 10-frame boxes deeps, and I've got an 8-frame deep and a couple of mediums. But right now, I still have one whole hive that's not even being used.
Right.
That I have set up. I just have it set up just in case
That's one
a swarm decides to come by.
one swarm from filling it up. Yeah, I think James did make it home there, Russ. After 36-hour round trip. This is how crazy shipping is. It is cheaper for James to drive 36 hours round trip than it is for him to have stuff shipped to him. He saves money by driving 36 hours to pick his stuff up.
Right. Well, you got that place right by your house there. Or you're by one, aren't you? There, Bob.
Who?
Aren't you by a shop right by you? A distributor?
He's 30. The one is 30 miles away.
Yeah, it's like 30 miles, which isn't far, but I could buy every frame that he has in the shop, and it's not enough frames for what I need.
Right.
So it's like, and because it's like that, I'm not getting a price break to buy 1,000 frames or 500 frames. So if I'm paying full retail, no, it's not going to happen. I'll order them from somewhere else and take a price break and get more, Tim, hey.
Hey guys, how you doing? Been a while.
Good to see you.
How's that laser printer going?
Really well. It's been busy.
It's been a busy time of year for sure. For sure, all the way around. I've been toying with the idea of getting a bigger laser, but I got so much stuff going right now. It's like it would be another thing that I'd spend a few $1,000s on to be sitting there collecting dust, right? So it's like
your wife would kill you.
Yeah. Well, honestly, she likes it when I'm home. If she had her way, I'd quit work tomorrow, right, and just be here. And I like being here because I can do things and get repairs done and stuff that I needed done. But the thing is that, I think she's got a lot of pressure on her for taking care of my mom and whatnot. And I think, it's getting to the end stages for my mom. They've started to have hospice workers come in and stuff like that. And usually when the doctor starts doing that, the doctor, even though they don't verbalize it and say it to you,
6 to 10 months.
Yeah, it's like, it's that time. And so there's a lot of stuff that's on her all the time, and I'm gone, and I might pop in for a few minutes if I'm in the area and then have to go to my next appointment. So she would like it if I spent the money and could get something going that it was profitable to do, right? So she would prefer that. But my thing is, with anything, right, Tim, when you start it up, it takes a good while to get it rolling and people to know about you and that you do it and you get the word out there and everything else, right?
I suppose so. I've been doing it for 17 years, so.
Well, when you started, it probably wasn't as good as it is now. I'll just say
Oh,
that.
when you start, you don't think it'll ever take off.
And it's, yeah, so that's the thing. I would love to do it, but it's like getting to that point. And so right now I'm choosing to go the B route and trying to make that work. But it's finding that niche for your area. Like Queens here would be perfect, but I don't have, and I'll go back to what Brian from Flower Street said. You know what? He said, I figured out I could graft, and I grafted. He said, but then I found out that I was doing a lot of work to sell a $40 queen when I could sell a $200 nuke with that $40 queen and make it more profitable. So, and I know there's a lot of people that watch that don't care necessarily about being profitable in the bees, right? I understand that. You get 1, 2, 3, 10 colonies. You just want enough honey to have a little sideline thing going. But at some point, we're not, us guys here, we're not getting any younger. So especially Tim's not getting any younger. So
I'm trying.
We got to figure out what the next step is, right? What are we going to do after we don't do what we do right now? So yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to digest right now. If I'm going to take a year like next year and just stay where I'm at hive wise, right? And not do the big expansion, and then just sell nukes and get some more funds built up to do it. So that's kind of decisions that I'm working on, with my apiary. And, Charlie's at 30. He says, as long as he gets 1,000 pounds of honey and he can stay at 30 colonies, that's where you want to be, right, Charlie?
That's pretty much it. I mean, I look at it, that's what I can manage by myself. That's the big thing. I mean, now I had my sciatic problems and I had my neighbor up here who I was helping him. And then he come down and help pull the boxes off for me for the honey this year, which was a big help. And, no, I don't know. I mean, that's where I'm comfortable with that. It's still a hobby. I mean, it's still a lot of work too. You got 20 nukes.
Like Charlie.
Charlie works all the time.
You got 20 nukes that I'm averaging right around 20 nukes plus 12 honey hives. I had some land worker, more of that, I had some folks were asking me what I do about that. You shake them out in the grass. That's what you do.
I already have the boxes, so I have to double now. It's the law.
I don't know.
Do you sell a lot of nukes, Charlie?
Yeah, I've sold up as high as 20 nukes in 1 year. This year I did like 11. Somewhere around 10 to 15 nukes a year. Well, I've been thinking about cutting that back and just, doing the honey. And then I'm like, well, that money's awful good. Coming in. When you a couple $1,000 coming in off of selling nukes.
I think part of that, though, I mean, you could sell more nukes, Charlie, because you're so involved with different bee clubs, right? I'm not. If I was involved with bee clubs, I could probably sell more nukes because I've got more beekeepers.
I could sell more. Right now I could sell more queens. If I could do a ton of queens, I could sell all kinds of queens.
Right. Well, I mean, you're in the same. I think we're all in the same situation. Yeah, we can make queens, but having the queens early enough for the people in our area, right? So I can make queens, but the problem is when I can make queens, well, so can they. You know what I mean? Because we're all in the same geographic location. So it's
No.
like you almost have to know somebody south of you that you can get the queens for reasonably to bring them up for your nukes and stuff like that. The problem is, like, everybody gets them out of Georgia and Florida. Well, I'm small fish, right? So if I want to buy 50 queens, that's nothing because somebody down the street is buying 5,000 of them for their commercial yard, right? So it's like I'm still way down on the list of getting queens at that point. So,
Right. It's
so
me.
trying to figure out that timing and ordering them ahead of time, like this year for next year type of deal, is kind of the thing. So,
Yeah,
Tim, go ahead, Chris.
So I'm working on. There's a couple about an hour from me. They want to get back into doing queen rearing and all that, and they were gonna start it at $25 a mated queen. So I figure, shoot, buy them for 25 from them, sell them for 40.
Well, that's what I was doing last year. So here's the problem with that. I sold a ton of them. I sold over 100 queens. So I made $1,200. However, I put out $2,500 to make $1,200. And I've got all of the risk if those queens make it or not. Right? So so that's one of the issues. I mean, the good part was if I needed a queen, I just went over and grabbed a queen and was able to have it. But it's one of those things that you're putting that money into play. Like if you get 25 queens, first of all, you got to have a place to put them. So you have to bank them. Then you can only bank them for a finite amount of time, which means you have to only have enough queens that you can sell quickly, because otherwise you end up having to make more splits and you replace.
Well, that's why you take orders and tell them you're gonna have them.
Yeah, that's on paper that works well.
That's what my mentor does.
Yeah, your mentor's got 3,000 colonies. Your mentor doesn't discount his queens at all. So, like,
No,
if
not
I
at all.
want 50 queens, I'm not getting a price break on them to resell them, right?
Either do I.
So, yeah,
he's my mentor.
That's the thing, right? So, what I can do is I can go down there and pick up queen cells, but then I have to split into 2-frame nukes, right? That the cells, they still have to go out and get mated and come back and then sell it. So it's there's still a time lag there.
Well, if you had the equipment to fertilize them, he's looking for a new person. He just fired the guy that was his fertilizer.
His fertilizer? What do you mean?
Where he automatically fertilizes the queens, so they're already
artificially inseminated.
Yeah. So the guy was too slow for him, so he just fired him.
Well, from what I gather, you can only do. Charlie, was it you that said you can only do 5 or 6 of those artificially inseminated queens a day?
Oh, no, wasn't me. I don't have any.
Nah, he was doing. I think Mitch said the person he had before was a handicap vet. That's all he did, and he was shooting out 100 of them a day.
Wow.
So, but see, here's the thing: your mentor seems like a shrewd business fellow.
Very much.
So I guarantee he's not paying $50 a queen or something like that.
No,
right?
No. He's getting them, and he's got to pay the guy that's doing them. I think it was like $15 a piece.
So $15 a piece. So if you could do 100 a day, that's $1,500 a day.
Right.
And the whole day you're sitting there with your eyes through the binoculars or through the microscope there doing it. That would be a tedious job.
Couldn't do it.
So it's I mean, it's a thing though, you know.
Well, even if you could do 25 bees a day, that's still
but he
good chunk
fired me because I wasn't doing enough.
Well, the guy he fired wasn't even getting 10.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
So
when I asked for queens, because I wanted to get a couple queens, his guy couldn't get them available. and I was only asking for 2.
So there is a guy in Georgia that I talked to, that big Nuke producer guy here, and he said that if you order 250 queens, this was last year, you can get them for like $12 a piece. So, I mean, that's still, do the math on that, right? Okay, I will, Bob. Times 12. That's $3,000. $3,000 in queens. And now you got 250 queens with, what the hell am I going to do with them? Right?
Well, that's why they're pre-ordered. Yeah. He pre-orders them.
And you can't AI 100-day. It takes too long to collect the semen, is what Mark says.
No. What they do,
They freeze the
they
semen.
go away. Yeah, they get the dead drones shipped in from other beekeepers.
If I was doing that, I would probably have to have like 10 machines and train 10 people to do it, and then pay them by the hour to production line of queens coming out.
You say they're shipping dead drones. I mean, they don't. I mean, I've seen the guy up there at West Virginia, and he'll catch drones, and he'll squeeze them, and they get one little drop of semen out of that, and then he takes a pipette and sucks that out, and then he gathers so much of that semen up, and then he puts it in that liquid nitrogen tank, and he showed just what he.
Yeah.
Huh?
It puts this queen asleep until you inseminate her.
Oh yeah. You use CO2 for that.
CO2.
But he showed just the prep work to get that area clean, get the machines clean, get all the hoses clean. I mean, it's like an operating room. That's how precise, precise it is, and all that. And the last video he put out, I think he used semen that was 2 or 3 years old, and it worked. It's still a viable semen. But,
Yeah, he said the last batch of he buys like 500 drones. He gets some from Texas, some from California, some from Michigan. Where else did he say he get them from? He gets them from all different areas, not just from here, because he tries to keep the genetics mix so it's stronger. The bees are stronger.
Supposedly, the queens that I've bought have been laying for 3 weeks. Can I attest to that? Nope. And to be honest with you, the queens that I've bought, and it doesn't matter where I've bought them from, it's kind of been hit or miss on whether, like, I bought Oliveira's Saskatraz queens, and they were all the rage 2-3 years ago. And I bought those. I'm like, oh yeah, I want to change some of these. And then all of a sudden, those Saskatraz bees did not like South Carolina heat too much, and they just did pitiful down here. And I don't think any of those made it.
well, I mean, I've been out like the videos I showed down there at South Georgia. There, they got 1,000 double mating nukes out through the woods. And, when she gets a little patch about that big on that little teeny frame, she's plucked and put in a cage and 6 or 7 attendants. And that's the end of that.
I have all Sassatraz, and like Bob says, I have not yet purchased a queen that was worth anything. They come in packages. They do fantastic. If I raise them, they do fantastic. But purchasing individual Sassatraz queens has not been good.
Did you so you're getting packages of Saskatraz in them?
I get at least 1 or 2 a year. And I don't know why. Those queens do fantastic. But when I purchase individual queens, kind of lackluster.
That's I've never gotten a package ever. Never bought a package. I've only ever used, only gotten nukes if I bought any bees. And I'm doing my best to not buy any more bees. Keep the addiction down. The
I had trouble
I
making
did 3
queens
packages.
the last 2 years. Has been terrible. I'm not sure why. If it's just my area, the queens will. I use resource highs. They make a queen no problem. She goes out. She just never returns. The last 2 years, I've got maybe 2 queens back. The last 2, none this year.
You see what Russell says here? He ordered 3 mated Saskatraz and 12 carnies. All the carnies are good, and only one of the Saskatraz are still alive. That was kind of my experience.
Yeah, this may be. I've done them for 3 years now. This may be my last season with pure Saskatraz.
And they're not cheap.
No,
They're not inexpensive queens anymore. Let me see. I've got Oliveras on my thing here.
I think it sort of like what Cayman says. You know, Cayman's queens, they've always been his own queens. And he's developed that over the years, and he's got really nice looking genetics. And look at Ian. Ian's done the same thing. He's developed his own queens over the years, and everything was fine up until this year. And
Well,
he
it still
brought
ended up fine.
he bought some queens this year, but they're not all that great.
So Oliveras has Saskatraz queens are $44.75 before shipping, right? So you're going to be in the $50. I mean, $50 range, easy for a queen. And let's see, are they
probably closer to 75 by the time you get shipping.
They are still shipping queens though. So if you want to make splits with mated queens, they are shipping.
Yeah, I have one hive that's still my crossbred queen between Russian and Italian. Some of them come out looking like Russians. Some of them come out looking like Italians. It's weird because I think they're old bees coming out, but they're young ones.
I'll see you later, Jim. Thanks for the comments.
So they're charging $3 more for a Carniolan queen. I mean, for a Saskatraz than a Carney. And they are charging, same thing, $41.75 for an Italian queen.
I do have to say though that the only advantage I've had with my Saskatraz is the mite count has been extremely low compared to say the any swarms I've captured or when I did have Italians. I've never had a high count in any of my Saskatraz hives.
Man Lake has queens for $25 if you pick them up.
Yeah, those are the Italians. I looked at that.
So surplus sale, and it's got queens on there. How long have they been surplus? Let's see.
Quite a while.
So it says Southern bred Russian hybrid queen. Let's just do Italian. Let's look at Italian here. So if you pick it up in the store in Clarkson, Kentucky, $25.
Yep.
For one queen. If you have to get it shipped next day, it's $55 for the queen. But it doesn't really go down too much when unless you're buying over 17 of them, then they're $29 a piece.
Well, when you guys go up to the reunion up there, you guys can get some.
They won't have any then because it'll be January.
Yeah, it's true.
So the Kentucky Fried Conference, KFC for short.
Yep.
So I did reach out. I didn't get a response back today, but I did reach out to Dustin to invite him on the stream, and but I didn't get a response back today. So, give him fair share of airtime and see if he wants to talk about the conference or really just bees in general, because I think that Dustin's at a disadvantage because he doesn't have the whole YouTube thing to broadcast all over, right? That was Cayman's role in that conference, was he was the front man. the face, if you will. So, and then, you know, everybody's quick to jump on the hate train. I call them, I've dubbed them Canaanites, right? Like Canaanites from the Bible. They're Canaanites. They just love Cayman because they love Cayman because they love Cayman. And I don't have any problems with Cayman, right? But the fact of the matter is, everybody jumps to a conclusion on Dustin and railroads him on YouTube and starts talking. So I felt like, well, you know what? If you want to come on here and talk, we'll give you a platform. Cayman hasn't reached out about coming on here or talking, you know. So, and I've reached out to Cayman to try to get him to come on. But if he doesn't want to come on and talk, that's fine. But if Dustin does, then that's fine too. So, and you know, whoever comes on, we try to treat them with respect and joke a little bit and have a fair
Southern hospitality
platform. Yeah, you know, just talk bees, talk about what's going on. And I'm a firm believer that if both conferences do well, then we do well, right? I'm not going to sling a bunch of crap on one guy or another, because obviously this is not the way that either parties had planned it to work out. This is just what we have now. And because of that, then I think that it's fair to give them, fair time to speak. And I'm not saying
I have to say Dustin did me well. You know, he was short on hives at the conference last year due to the fire at his plant. And when he did get them, he drove them all the way up here to Cincinnati and delivered. It was only less than a dozen. I mean, it was a dozen hives, I believe. And he didn't charge me. He delivered them. That kudos.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and that's what it's about. I mean, again, we only so excuse me, without slinging mud. I mean, I'm not trying to pick a side. I'm not picking a side. The thing is that honestly, I had no idea till this felt falling out that Dustin was even part of Hive Life. I didn't know. Maybe I was just ignorant. Maybe everybody else knew and I didn't, and whatever. But I didn't know. And so when what happened, now think about this. I think tickets went on sale for Hive Life in like June or July, right? They started. So when this happened, all of a sudden, now Hive Life has commitments that they've committed to renting a place, having a conference, right? I'm sure that was already set forth because they already said that it's here and these are the dates. So they had to commit probably some money to have the space. And then when the dissolution happened, or whatever you want to call it, when they dissolved, well, the face left, not really talking about what happened, just no longer there. And now you got Dustin here holding the bag on the conference, all of the area, all the stuff. But because Cayman is so popular on Facebook and on YouTube, that I don't feel like he's getting that fair shake. And I don't know all the background stuff. To be honest with you, I don't even want to know all of the background stuff. It doesn't matter to me. But you know, if he wants to come hang out and chat, he's more than welcome, just like everybody else. Why we throw a link up on top and bring people in and talk bees. And if he comes on and he wants to answer questions and talk, then kudos to him. And the thing is that we don't want, if someone comes on, I hope that everybody in the chat is respectful. Of course, we can't control that. Half the time they're not respectful when we're just doing the stream. But that's our viewers, right? So that's we know how to deal with them. So but yeah, so I did open it up an offer, and I haven't heard back. So I don't know if it'll happen or not, but it's possible that it could happen. So
I hope he does.
And I talked to Johnny Walker today. He's doing good. So, matter of fact, he's who I got Dustin's number from there. So, hopefully he does come on, because I'd like to get to know him as a person either way, because might need some bee boxes or something. I don't know, Steve. I don't know, because he would actually have to answer that voicemail back and respond to it. So leave that up to him if he does come on, and he may not want to. I don't know what the deal is. But we just do what we can, try to make it interesting. I'm noticing Russians get very defensive in the fall dearth. Yeah, my bees do that as well.
That's what happened to me yesterday, walking with shorts on just past my bees. I have one hive. One little lady just decided, hey, you're too close. She nabbed me right on my shin.
We know how to treat all the gentlemen here, and you too, Bob. That's it. Hey, I'm the glutton for punishment. I take the abuse, but it's all good. All good. So, Tim, how many colonies you up to now?
I am way down. I am down to 6 hives now.
You're down to 6?
Yeah, I've been equalizing the hives, trying to weed out the weaker hives, getting ready for winter.
Okay.
I've been treating with OA. I'm trying to get way ahead of it this year.
How many did you get up to during the year?
I was up to 11, but like I say, I've been weeding them out, getting rid of the weak, merging. I want all my hives that I go into winter with to be really strong this year.
Canadian bees are friendly bees. Now, I commented the other night, who was it had a video out that their bees were kind of feisty up in Canada? Was it Ian that put one out? And let me see.
Or was it Brad?
It might have been Brad. Brad was getting lit up. Wasn't he telling a story he was getting lit up?
Lisa said it was Ian.
Ian, too? So, yeah, myth busted. But James said he had nights that it was getting down to freezing up there in the evenings already.
They just got warm weather, it seemed like to me.
Well,
been warm.
We've got a couple minutes left before I shut down the live broadcast and the party gets started.
Right.
The after hours party. Yeah, that he had some spicy bees. It's possible.
My bees are pretty much calm, except they just one bee had a hair up her butt.
Yeah, Mike says all my weak hives would get a chance in their own yard in Nukes if I had any weak ones. Yeah, so my weak ones, they pretty much eliminated themselves, or the moss or hive beetles eliminated them. So only the really strong ones, which is fine. Like I said, if they didn't build themselves up over the honey flow, they're not going to make it through winter anyway. So I just once they're gone, I pull the frames and everything and reuse the equipment.
This is the first season I haven't had a lot of problem with hive beetles. I used that stuff on the ground that Lee uses. I used that late winter, early spring, and I'll see one, maybe two hive beetles at most.
Is that Grubex?
Yeah, one of those type of things. Yeah,
I've used some, but this year I have more hive beetles than I had last year. But it's not like crazy, And if I see them, I do the old hive tool test on them if I can. Or I'll shake the bees off and then I'll bang the frame on both sides on a migratory cover on something on the ground and then hive tool test them. But
don't they fly right back in?
Some do, but if I don't get them before, because usually the bees will be on that migratory cover and they'll kind of try to still keep them corralled. And as they run away from the bees, I just get them. Ooh, Hope got it twice in the armpit today.
I've been putting pollen patties on my weak hives to build them up, and I don't have any hive beetles in mine. So
you got them $40 bottom boards.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, they're on sale, so get them while they're cheap.
Yeah, they're on sale for $40, but they work. If they work, then I guess it's worth it.
What are you talking about? Them ones that got that?
It's an
Tray.
oil
The oil
tray in
pan.
it.
It's got the oil tray in it.
Let's see what I got here. Actually, someone bought swarm lure today.
Yeah, I'm down to about a quarter of a bottle right now, so I might have to get some more before the end of summer. So the fall swarms.
You know, Amazon, if I got one problem with Amazon, and the thing is that someone can, for whatever reason, just decide they want to do a return. Okay. I'm not against returns. If you get a defective item and you return it, that's one thing. But if you order something on Saturday or Friday and I mail it out Friday and you get it on Monday and then you're trying to return it like the same day on Monday, but you never get that product back. That product, they don't mail it back. It don't come back to you. So now they got the product. I have to pay. Now they're going to charge me back all that money that they paid, right? So if it's $30, they're going to get credited back. And guess what? I have to pay back the shipping portion too. So I paid for shipping and I've reimbursed them shipping. So I've lost twice on it.
So it does. You're saying it doesn't come back to you?
I've had like 5 returns, which isn't bad, but 5 returns, and I've gotten 1 item back in the mail.
Ends up in those big warehouses where they or those people that are getting boxes out of nowhere in their front lawns.
So it's like you almost have to jack your price up on everybody else to help compensate for somebody getting over on you on something. So it is what it is. But
because you don't know if they just get your product, use it on one of their traps, bottle it back up, and send it back saying it didn't work.
well, the last thing that I'm talking about, they ordered a pack of pins. Now they're in those clear baggies, right? So I look at them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 pins and they're 5 colors. So I put that in my black mailer and mail it off. And then they're like, "Oh, it was missed." They said the reason for the return was didn't need anymore. It's like, how did you go from Friday to Monday and don't need your pins you just ordered? And then they put in there some bogus reason why. So I send them a message saying, "Hey, you literally just got these today. I know they weren't defective or used, right? I mean, you would have only used the red if you were using any." So it's like, I don't know, but whatever. It doesn't happen that often, thank God. But there's a definite scam going around there where people can do that. And Amazon just placates them. So
That's about right. DC lost in the Amazon universe.
Well, all right. So there's breaking news. Ohio rejects change to state's constitution. There you go.
Surprising. I am surprised.
About what?
It was complicated. If you were up here, the advertising, it was so complex the way they put that thing forward.
And
You really didn't know whether to vote yes or no because it was so convoluted.
it's like, vote no if you want this to happen, and vote
Exactly.
yes if you don't want it.
They do that on purpose.
Well, both sides were advertising, interest groups are supporting that side. No, interest groups are supporting that side.
So what's Bob's frozen?
Bob's.
Oh, I thought Bob's being a mime.
Yeah, he's quiet all of a sudden.
So what was this
Who's
legislation?
the ventriloquist? Who can speak
Oh,
for
it was
Bob?
to change the way they do the Constitution in Ohio, to add or change it, that kind of thing.
The Constitution of the state?
Yeah, they wanted to raise the percentage of votes needed, the amount of signatures needed for the petitions, the number of counties that you had to have that huge number of signatures in.
And that was supposed to deal with the abortion too, wasn't it?
Well, no. This was because abortion, I believe, is supposed to be on the November ballot. So
Right.
if they get this in place, they're sure to stop that bill. That's why
Right.
they had the special election. That's the only reason they had this special election.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Politics.
Yep, can't have it. Need to take politics out of beekeeping, out of sports, everything. Yeah, Bob must have died.
Yeah, he hasn't come back, has he? He went out to work his bees.
Hey, he's done it at night. I've done it once. They're pretty calm at night.
Yeah, I've been treating OA in the late evening, just before dark when I go out there. Well, I tell you what, my
Thanks,
swarm
Lucy.
hive, I treated their first treatment. The first treatment I gave them this month. Boy, they came out. I couldn't cover the entrance because there were too many bees out. So I just treated them, and I got a hole in the back. And boy, they came out after me. I mean, it looked like a swarm. They came out after me in force. They were PO'd. Given a couple treatments since then, and they've been like any other
Calm
hive.
down.
But
Yeah.
that first treatment, they did not like.
It's way too hot here for any of that going on. We're in a 100-degree. So.
Yeah, that's the first time I ever had to put a suit on to treat for OA. That's the first
for the
time.
mites, yeah.
Yeah, normally, like I say, because you're treating from the back, it's no big deal. It's evening time. But that was the first time I had to suit up.
See, the nice thing with the oil trays that I have, I can pull the oil tray out, and if I was doing OA or any of that, I could put it underneath where the oil tray goes, and just it'll smoke the whole hive that way if I wanted to.
What type of oil do you use in those?
Just baby oil.
Baby oil.
Baby oil, unscented, because it doesn't attract any other bees. At first, I did vegetable oil, and I noticed my other bees were trying to get into the back side of the hives. So once I changed it to baby oil, they don't mess with it. And it doesn't need that much in there, so.
What you eating over there, Charlie?
Oh, I had some popcorn.
I was gonna say, this is Mr. Popcorn Man.
Yeah,
My chickens would like you because they like popcorn.
I eat it occasionally. I don't know. What happened to Bomb? I guess he's going to come back. But I've been doing Apiary right now. I put it in a couple weeks ago. So it comes off at 1st of September. And it's been hot and humid. And I was going to do Apiary, but it's just so hot.
Yeah, I think it's too hot. Yeah.
Too hot, and I think it would put the bees out and abscond. I've come to the conclusion that I don't think I can use Apiary around here. I don't want to do it in September because it shuts the bees down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So I got a brand new tub that never been opened. And then, so I figure my plan of attack now is Apiary, Formic Pro in September. You'll catch a 4 or 5 day window there that's cool and low humidity. Hit them twice, 2 strips or 1 strip on a nuke. And then come back with it OA and from about late October, November, December, January, February. Hit them once or twice a month.
Farmer's Almanac released their predictions for Ohio last week, and it doesn't look good. It's supposed to be a long, hard, snowy winter, and it's supposed to start early. So I want to make sure my bees are prepared. I started treating them earlier this year than I normally do, and they're not always correct, but they're correct enough that I
don't think I've ever heard of that one. Is that just for Ohio?
Well, they released all of them for the whole Farmer's Almanac. I just read the Ohio.
Yeah, I think you can pull it up online there, Charlie.
I think they said they average on 85% accuracy.
No, I mean, Mother, she used to buy the Hagerstown Almanac. I guess it was Hagerstown, Maryland, I guess. But then everybody else would read the Farmer's Almanac. So
I think there's now the Farmers, and then isn't it the Old Farmers Almanac? They're two. They separated.
I guess. I don't know.
Bob taking a dinner break, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't hear him say he's coming back or not.
We don't need Bob on Bob's channel.
Right?
I don't know. But so that's my plan. It worked for me. I got my bees tested by the government, and I had a 0.2 infestation, which is really good.
When you say tested by the government, you mean your county folks, or?
No, it was they asked me to participate in the National Honeybee Survey.
Oh, cool.
Oh, there you go.
So the head state apiarist inspector, she lives not too far from my house, and she came over one afternoon and during the daytime, and after lunch, I guess it was, and they took I did so many pounds or so many a package of live bees, one of the little square boxes full of live bees out of 8 or 9 different hives sampling. And then they took a sampling of bees that were put in alcohol. I think there were like 1,100 bees there. Then they took brood frames where it was like open larvae. And then she'd have a stainless steel pan, and she'd hit the frame and knock the brood or the larvae out of the frames onto that pan, and then scoop that up and put it in. I forget, some type of a test tube or whatever it was, and then all that stuff was sent away and all that kind of thing. So
how hard do you got to smack that frame to knock out all the larvae?
I don't know. She just hit it on the damn 5 or 6 inches. Hit it pretty hard. Not all the larvae come out, just some. It would dislodge. Dislodge some of it, And
she only did that to a couple of your hives, not.
No, we went through like 8 or 9 nukes.
Okay. So she was just doing your nukes, not your main hives?
I don't know. She did so many of the main hives and so many, she just had to have certain amounts of sampling, which you had to have at least, let's say 9 to 10 hives that she would have to pick, get a little bit of out of each one of them and stuff like that. So it's what we came up with. So it seems to be the treatment program that I've developed seems to be working. But I mean, usually July or late July into August is when I start treating. I don't treat.
Do they come out just once, or have they come out a couple times?
No, just one time a year.
Just one.
Run around October, I think it was when she came.
I mentioned to you that I don't do the treatments on mine, and I've done the counts on them. I get 1 or 2 mites in the little alcohol wash, which I'm pretty proud of that, not have to treat them.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah, if you don't have to treat, great.
Well, it's that oil tray that I can look inside there and I can count the mites inside the oil tray.
Yeah, but have you had any dead outs or whatever, through the winter time or?
No.
No.
I haven't even vascotted or anything like that. Matter of fact, they're growing so fast. I could split every one of my hives right now except for 2. But I just prefer just stick with 15 hives right now.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I mean, there's some days, you get in that there's certain busy times that I have where I'll have springtime, you'll have your nukes and they're getting big and ready to roll, and they're right on the edge of they wanting to swarm. And it's like, okay, I need to call these people up, get them here, get them in the cardboard boxes, and out the door you go.
Right.
And get the bees sold before they swarm. And then it's more of a stress issue. And then come the end of March, well, actually, it'll probably be after I work on the honey hives. Oh, there he is.
Internet. They're coming out Thursday. It just arbitrarily drops for no reason.
Welcome to the program tonight, Bob.
Well, thank you for having me on. I'm so excited to be here.
Welcome to the Chris show.
We got to start over now.
So, I get my nukes or my production hives arranged, and then the nukes come along, and then that's when I, get the nukes out the door, and then either you're getting queens about that time from down south or whatever. But I don't know. It's like queens, like we're talking about that, where I got pretty much all my hives have got 20, 23 queens in there, trying to do like what Brad and them guys do, where they keep 2-year, especially in your production hives, keep those 2-year-old queens and get rid of them and all. It's, you hear all that, and at our level, it's like, I don't know whether we want to, get into that level, but as you get into your beekeeping farther and farther, you start learning that all this stuff does make a difference and stuff. So that's an interesting thing. But as far as getting big, like I say, you say, Chris, you've got 15 hives. You're good at that. You're done.
Yeah, for now. That's where I'm going to set for the rest of the year and see what happens next year if I catch any more swarms. I'm not buying any more bees, but I will catch swarms and maybe set them up in hives and just sell the whole hive.
Yeah. I mean, are you doing honey yet or what?
Oh, yeah. I pulled 10 gallons.
He don't eat honey.
I don't eat it, but I sell it.
Yeah,
I've got 3 customers right in my neighborhood that come by every once a week. And
are you saying you got 10 production or 15 production hives, honey production?
No,
hives?
I've got 4 production hives.
Oh, okay.
The other ones are just they're strong enough I could put supers on them, but I want them to build up more. So. Because I wait until they're at least 8 frames full in the deeps, then I'll put another box on.
Right.
A lot of people say 7, but I like at least 2 frames that are still they got to work on before I put another box on. I drill my mentor's brains every day. And he just threw a curve on me about the mating box where he just throws live drones inside a box with a queen and shuts it up for 3 days with water in there for the drones and the queen to drink and maybe a couple nurse bees. And he goes, open it up in 3 days, look in there, you see some dead drones, she's mated. You're good to go. I'm like, dude, I'm good right where I'm at.
Yeah, but you should have at least 15 or 20 drones dead in there.
Yeah, he just said if you open it up, you got 3 to 5. That means she has already started mating with them. But it's up to you if you want to. I said, okay.
So he's saying they'll mate inside a box. They don't have to fly out.
Right. You just have to close it up so they don't fly out. And I'm like, well, I've never heard that one. He goes, yeah, I'm blowing your mind, ain't I? I said, dude, every day you say something I had no clue. But you know, he's a smart cookie when it comes to bees now. And the first thing he ever tells you, if you think you know everything about bees, you're lying to yourself. You'll never know everything about bees. One day they'll just do something that you have no clue. I've showed him my bees. He goes, for you just having them for a short time like you have, he goes, people would dream to have your hives. I said, okay. Because how much is bearding? I mean, you can't even see the front of my hives, and they're one deep and two supers on each one of them. You can't even see the front of the hives because it's all bees.
You're what, 100 degrees out there?
It's yeah, but they're under the shade trees too, so they're getting shade for most of the day, but they still get the heat. And whenever I open them up, it's full to the top inside the hive too. And I've got the vented covers.
Mm-hmm.
I paid a lot of money for those vented covers. I bought 2 of them. I'm like, that cost me $100 just for the 2 vented covers.
What?
Just to
a
see how they
screen?
work. What's that?
A screen, you mean?
No, they're plastic, believe it or not, and they're grooved on the top. It's grooved where it's not enough room for the bees to get through, but the air flows through it.
So do they propylize it?
Oh yeah, they do.
They're regulating their airflow to begin with.
Right. So,
That's why if you ever watch my videos, I got them little blocks. You see, I'll put the blocks on top of the inner cover.
Right. That holds it up a little bit.
Yeah, they're 5/8 of an inch thick. They're about 2 inches long and about 1.5 inches wide. You put one on each front corner there, and that jacks that telly up just enough to let air out, and you don't have any sweating or any moisture problems and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, I might have to try that with my other ones.
Huh?
I don't do any upper venting at all. None.
You don't have a moisture problem on your inner cover? No?
No, never have.
So where are you at in southwest? Oh, you're at the other end of Ohio. Okay.
Yeah, I'm near Cincinnati.
Okay.
I need to come up there and visit you. I need a good bowl of Cincinnati chili.
So is it going to snow in January, Tim?
That's what they're predicting. They're saying January and February is supposed to be rough and not much relief come March, they said.
Because you're all of maybe 2 hours from Louisville?
Yeah. That's about yeah. Yeah, it's pretty mild here. Most winters, it's we might get 1 or 2. I think I got my my plow out once last year.
Yeah, if I ever come up to see you, Tim, I have to bring my Michigan shirt.
My doors will be locked.
That's what he wore when he came to help me with that cutout, his Michigan shirt.
You wouldn't know it.
And you know I worked at Michigan State, so that's like a party foul right there. So anyway, guys, it's 10:24. I'm gonna go ahead and shut down the live stream. Apologize, my internet dropped, and that way, if we'll be back when we're back. Charlie's Friday night, stream team tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Tim and Hannah Sunday night, and whatever night I feel like popping in, I pop in, which is pretty much
every day. Every day.
Every day. We didn't mind that you're gone, Bob.
No, we got you good.
Bob?
Huh?
Were you
I was good. No, I wasn't gone. Nobody missed me at all. All right, guys. Good night. Thanks for all the super chats and everything. Fox Plus, thanks for the boost of viewers. And we will talk to you guys again next time. Good night.
All right, good night, all.
All right.